Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the fourth session of the Digital Challenge towards Expo 2020 Dubai, dedicated to the future of innovation and education. My name is Teoxa. I'm an international student of political science, international relations, and human rights. And today I am very pleased to represent the whole Peer Mentors team of the Italian Commissioner Office of Expo 2020 Dubai. I am greatly honored to have this opportunity to chair the fourth pitch session of the Future Ed Digital Challenge on the road to Expo 2020 Dubai. Indeed, it's time for everyone to come together to mark this incredible learning journey. My welcome is also on the behalf of the Italian Commissioner Office that will continue the pitch session of the Digital Challenge on Future Education. Our extraordinary program of involvement, of activation of young people on great challenges of the education system that is facing nowadays. I must say we couldn't start but here. A world ended in lockdown, as we all know, struck by the unthinkable that bursted suddenly into our lives. The lives of billions of students who were struck and were forced to interrupt, to move their access to education, and even the peaceful continuation of their lives. Everything we took for granted, it is not anymore. It is as such of difficult times that many questions came to the surface. Questions such as what really happens to the school of the world, and which opportunities and limits have we discovered in this phase of global educational emergency, and what can we do and must we treasure to build tomorrow's school better than yesterday. Around these and many other questions, the digital competition on future education took place from October 24th till November the 24th, so one entire month dedicated to the future of education. We gathered 633 students in the digital arena between the age of 16 and 21 from 47 different countries, representing 59 high schools and 61 universities. Then we formed, based on the heterogeneity in terms of school, university, territory, 66 teams. We engaged them on 6 thematic areas fundamental for the future of education and the future of the school, topics of strong international significance that we have chosen with care and which we invited you to face with an innovative methodology. The 6 areas of action were tools for learners, spaces growing ideas, indoor, outdoor, worldwide school, people for people, and lifelong sharing. But you may be asking yourself who is presenting today, and I am very pleased to introduce you to the teams that will be present today, which are Team 12, Team 18, Team 21, Team 29, Team 33, Team 37, Team 50, Team 60, Team 63, Team 14, and Team 17. All these stages of the process have been followed and animated with external but close and constant contribution to the mentors participating in the peer mentoring program of the Italian Commissioner Office, who have observed and assistance in terms of sharing the methodological process to face the challenge and in supporting them throughout the stages of the co-creation. Speaking of peer mentors, Italy was actually the first country to have activated a program of peer mentoring and young volunteers moving towards Expo 2020. Unfortunately, of course, I could not welcome them all here, but I would like you to show a small extract of some of their faces, some of their expectations, some of their messages, and some of their hopes. Let's see.
Hi everyone. challenges, big problems can shrink a lot if we work together in order to solve them.
It's a great opportunity to link my story to the experience of many other students from all around the world.
I expect to take part in an innovative building site, exploring diversities and understanding how to close the gap that don't allow us to connect.
Welcome back. You may also be wondering how we will proceed together. Well, of course, to make everything work very well, we need to follow the rules of the game, which are three basic rules. First of all, you need to present for 5 minutes. Then you need to share your screen in order to present the project, and then you will have 10 seconds left. After your presentation, there will be a question time, so some question will be asked to you. But now it is with great pleasure that I would like to introduce to you the scientific coordinator of the Digital Challenge. He is a part of the Italian Commissioner Office for Expo 2020 Dubai. He is an inspirer and a leader of many projects related to the world of education and innovation. Lorenzo Micheli. Hi, Lorenzo.
Hi, Thea. Thanks to you for your warm introduction. Welcome you all also today. Also from my side to this fourth pitch session on the future of education and innovation, as you remember before. On the behalf of the Italy Expo team, I would like to express our gratitude and appreciation to all participants, all mentors, all students that are making this digital challenge possible. Thanks really for being part of all of these. Thanks for the spirit of initiative that we saw in the last few sessions, for the creativity, for the overall commitment over the last 4 weeks of this outstanding challenge-based learning process. We saw, as I said yesterday and the yesterday before and the yesterday before, the incredible abilities in moving through the co-creation workflow and the ideas and the project that came up. We are so grateful for all of these. As I said, in my path, in my educational and professional path, I managed several challenge-based learning workshops and events, but I've never led a 4-week challenge-based event. So I have specific perspective for this project. So excited to listen, watch, live, and comment the result of your works, the works of today at this fourth session. It is time to compete together, because that is a competition, but especially to be inspired by the words, by the idea of all teams involved in the competition. On my side, on the strength of the experience in the education sector that you mentioned, at the end of the pitch, and each pitch, I will directly interact with the speakers of all teams, or I will just report my question or my request of clarification in addition to the analysis of the final submission form that all teams submitted in the days before. As the last and the latest pitch session, I'm looking forward to hearing the result of the teams that you mentioned before, and good luck, Thea, for your conduction, for your moderation today.
Thank you very much, Lorenzo. I want to remind everyone that while you do all these things, keep in mind that your project will be assessed on the basis of some fixed criteria, which are going to be, of course, the same for all of you. Firstly, the jury will take in consideration the feasibility of your project. I'm talking about the sustainability in the light of elements such as time, money, organization, space, and technology. Second of all, the jury will take into account the project's consistency with the regard of the challenge you've been asked to fix. And third, there will be considered how innovative and ambitious is your project. Both your project will be assessed in the light of the added value it brings to your target community and by considering to what degree it involves other subjects. Finally, it will be evaluated on the basis of the quality of your presentation. We will also like to remind you that the announcement of the 10 finalist team will be made in December during the KNL Dubai Expo Week. The top 10 highest scored teams will be announced there. As the finalist teams, they will take part into a second stage of evaluation, which will take place in the context of the thematic in early December. At this second stage of evaluation, the panel judges will be composed of different experts, some of which will be members or actually leaders from prominent organizations, while others will be outstanding representatives from the sector of education and innovation. Finally, I think we are ready to start. First up, we will have team number 12 with the project United for Change. The speakers are Giulian Politic and Matilde Garancini. Their mentor is Anna Sedioli. And the area of action covered are tools for learners and people for people.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Tay, for that great introduction. We're group number 12, and this is our project, United for Change. So students spend around 20,000 hours in class before the time they graduate secondary school, time that, in our opinion, can be spent much more efficiently in order to better prepare students for the world ahead. Why do we feel this way? Well, in a recent study of Italian teachers and students, it was found that 55% of teachers, as well as 25% of students, felt unsatisfied with their in-class experience. COVID-19 pandemic has exposed the problems that have always existed in our educational system. This is why we think it's so important for us to ask the questions, how can we rethink school so that learners feel more prepared for the world ahead? And how do we create useful communication within our schools?
The solutions we propose in our project are addressed to students and teachers. For teachers, the development of a digital guide containing academic research about students, new teaching strategies, and technology support. And for students, the formation of a student government program in our own schools, creating change at local level. That's why we choose Tool for Learners and People for People. The guide we are creating is the tool to change the dynamic within students and teachers, while the implementation of a student government program is the direct advocating for ourselves, people for people.
These short-term goals are the beginning. We know that large change takes time, and that's why the first part of our project focuses on students acting in their own context at a local level. These short-term goals are important to establish trust with potential investors, as well as to show that our ideas and plans for change will work. Our more ambitious goals, Bridge and Legacy, include making the guide much more accessible and professional. For this reason, Bridge goals require collaboration between three major groups. Firstly, support from governments is key, especially relating to funding and training. Secondly, collaboration from educators means that trying to understand students and being open to the new ideas that we're proposing. And lastly, from students, who will ultimately be the ones responsible for creating the change in their schools. One Bridge goal, for example, is our website.
This is the third page of our website. The guide will allow teachers to view support resources that are easily accessible around the world. In this way, the guide can remain updated with changes, students' interests, and the most cutting-edge developmental research.
So the cost of our project is estimated to be between 20 and 50,000 euros. We know this is probably more than most of the proposals you're going to hear today, but we do think it's an accurate figure given the large-scale changes we wish to accomplish. This cost includes the creation, advertisement of a professionally made website, as well as the costs related to the expert's time and the contribution to the guide. We also found multiple grant opportunities that fit our project well, including the European Institute for Innovation and the European Innovation Council. Legacy goals are our most ambitious visions and involve lasting changes. These changes include changing teachers' compensation, while also increasing training and workshop hours, as well as increasing students' responsibilities in school. And lastly, changing the feeling of school to be a safe place that hosts community and extracurricular events. Legacy also means preparing students for the problems of the future, such as climate change and globalization. The solutions to these problems will come only from innovative ideas and passion.
This is why we think it's so important to make the website available to anyone around the world. Through the step we take, we are confident in the ability to translate the local changes we have already started into a national and global context. This change will come when teachers, students, and policymakers collaborate for the common goals of improving our education system, so we will be united for change. This goal may seem too big for 6 students to accomplish, but as Malala Yousafzai said, let us remember, one book, one pen, one child, and one teacher can change the world. United, we can change.
Thank you, Team 12. Now we will ask Lorenzo if there are any other questions for your project.
Yes, thanks, Matilda and Julian, for your great presentation and your clear presentation. Passing through your submission form, I read really carefully yesterday. I was curious about the 2 aspects of your action that you mentioned. One is about the resource guide for teachers in order to guide them to improve the students' engagement of students. And so my question is, how do you think of creating this resources guide? And if you have any idea of how to manage this guide, how to create this guide. And the second one is about the petition. In your master goal plan, one of the action in the short terms, so within 1-3 weeks, you mentioned the possibility to organize petition within school and university. How does it work?
Well, to answer the first part of the question regarding it was about the student guide. We basically had 2 ideas. The first one would be an aggregation of the resources already available to us. So a compilation of research and learning techniques, teachers implement in the classroom, and like research from academics that shows the improvement in class engagement. On a more professional level, it's our goal to invite professionals to develop this guide with us in order to give real expert opinions that teachers can rely on. The second part about the petition is our first step into the government in influence that we want to create. And this means the petition is the means of entering this government. So the petition for us is the first step in entering our influence into the government. And yeah, Matilda, do you want to add anything?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Team 12. If there aren't any other questions, I think we can go on and with the next team, which is team number 18. Team number 18 will present a project called Chere. The speaker will be Elena Busà. Their mentor is Emilio Siciliano, and the areas of action covered are tools for learners and people for people.
Hello, everyone. I would like to start asking you a question. Why now is the Italian school system so backward and rigid, and why do students feel so passive in the learning process? Well, this is the first question that came up in our minds when we start sharing our ideas about schools. While trying to find a solution, we thought, what do students like most in their daily life? Well, the answer is simple: be connected, free, and stimulated. By what? By the digital world. So what about launching a new social media where the school is the main topic? Well, this is Kere, and now I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Firstly, we think that a good idea should have solid foundations. Therefore, we decided to put our best values at the basis of our project. One of them, fondness for knowledge. Our targets will be schools, middle and high schools, the Ministry of Education, cultural associations, and also app developers. But getting down in the nitty-gritty, what is our project about? It is a new social media dedicated only to students and teachers that is divided in 4 sections. The first one is a personal profile where the student can post his own video contents, both assignments or personal cultural videos. Then there is the sharing point section where the teachers can challenge their students to make creative videos and choose the best ones. Then there is the main part, that is the connecting minds part, a place where students and teachers go beyond the standard concept of school. And here you can find free personal content and trends, funny challenges, and a lot of more. Finally, there is the creativity battle section. Here, all the best video assignments are collected in order to reward the most creative students and foster the others to do the same. We aim to develop our project in 3 phases. The first one should be a trial year when we want to reach 10 Italian schools. Then there is the second one when we want to expand in 100 Italian schools. And finally, the third one when we aim to reach 1,000 Italian schools. Finally, after these 5 years, we hope to reach all Europe, and why not, the entire world. Who could be interested in our project? Well, first of all, students and teachers, because they are the main characters of our project, but also cultural associations who will be maybe fascinated by this too. What about economy? Well, we aim to finance our project thanks to revenues coming from in-app purchasing and premium subscriptions, but also external financing resources obtained by financial funds in private banks, but also microfunding and microcredits. What is our project about? Why is it innovative? First of all, there is no such social media like ours. I mean, Kere is dedicated only to students and teachers and has a didactic aim. Then we foster a new way of interpreting school and a new kind of relationship among teachers and both students. Then we promote also a proactive way of feeling the school community. In fact, learners coming from different parts and different schools can share what they do and in a way they love, and they can contaminate one another in a positive way. Does it bring benefits to the society? Yes, for sure. For young learners, it would be a new way to get in contact with the school community and discover all the possible nuances of culture. We aim to design a new global and safe place where discriminations are not accepted and cultural differences are warmly welcomed. What about teachers? Well, they will discover a new way of interacting with their students' world, and they will be content creators who will develop very important digital skills. 3 keywords: sharing, connecting, and creativity. We think that a more connected and inclusive school will bring to a brighter future, and we think that the ability of designing new ways of doing things, curiosity, and the capability of making everything personal and unique is real beauty. On this concept is based our project, because we know that beauty connects people. Finally, I would like to show you a demo of our app. We are really thankful to our mentor, Emilio Siciliano, and we thank you all for the attention and the great opportunity. This is us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Elena. Mr. Micheli, would you like to ask some question to the number 18 team?
Yes, for sure. Thanks, Elena. Also addressed to the all members of Team 19. So I have some question. One is about the competitors that you already mentioned, but I would like to ask you to be more specific, considering the broad area of social media. Yeah, probably this is the first one.
Okay, thank you for the question. So we know that there are a lot of social medias, and we discovered that exist social medias about schools. But we think that this kind of social medias are always related to the teacher world, more to the teacher world, and also they try to replicate the school dynamics into the digital world. We want to create a new way of doing school, not just dive social media into school, but we want to dive school into the social world. And this is the most important part for us. And also we want that this place can be also a way to discover cultural interests that go beyond the normal concept of school.
But do you think that social media is the right name to define your service?
I think that maybe social space will be more appropriate, but I think that it is a good way to share the concept of our project, and also catchy and an easier way to understand what we do and what we want to do.
So you mentioned before all your teammates. So my next question is about the governance and the organization form of your team. How do you intend to implement the organization, and how are you going to manage the commitment of your teammates in implementing the project?
So thank you for the question. As you saw before, we have different roles, for example, project manager, or people that have roles in the financial field and technical field, and so on. And we also aim to reach some app developers, and we would like to collaborate also with teachers that have strong experiences in the innovative field, because we think their contributions will be really precious for us.
Do you think will your project will be accessible to all people, and so the inclusiveness is a key word of your project, or not?
Thank you again. Well, I think that inclusiveness is another important part of our project, and we know that do exist a very big digital gap, and this is a very big problem. But we know also that problems can be solved. So we would like to collaborate with institutions and authorities in order to fill this digital gap, and we want to help the people that are not cannot get in touch with this world.
Why did you choose this name?
Well, this is a funny story. We think that this social network is an Italian project made by Italian people for at the first time Italian students. Giving an English name would have been strange and banal. So we made some researches, and we found out that the radical part of the word create and also grown in Italian are the same, and they come from Zendo and Sanskrit, and they are the same part of the world, creativity and growth. So we think that these two main elements are the main elements of school.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elena, and thank you, Lorenzo. Up next is Team 21 with Future. The speaker is Hejra Taufik. Their mentor is Gaia Norbiato, and the areas of action covered are 3. So tools for learners, worldwide school, and lifelong sharing.
I can guarantee that out of the 633 students that are part of our digital challenge today, each and every single one of us has been in this situation, in an important time of their life, in their educational and professional path. They were looking at a computer screen and thinking of exactly what they would have to write in that search bar to have a bright future. Today, Team 21 has the answer, and that answer is future. We came up with an idea of a global platform, so a site and an app that will help in the guidance that students need in their educational and professional path. Because let's face it, the outcome that was probably of that student was this, and let's hopefully not think that it was this. And we're not just saying that because we believe it, but we're saying that because we actually did a survey on students and workers and their current situation. And we found out that 30% of students and workers found and discovered new opportunities too late. And the reasons for these lost opportunities, and the main reason that 43% of these students said was that they couldn't find them on their own. In analyzing these problems and many more, such as the lack of information and soft skills, but also the unfamiliarity that many people have with the educational and professional world, we wanted to figure out what our target audience was. And we thought that in the beginning, we would think of connecting the university students with the professional world. We know that today, as we all have heard from a lot of experts, a lot of jobs won't exist anymore in the next 5 years, let's say. And that's why we want to concentrate on letting the users of our app know this information on time and not lose these opportunities. That's why our users will have the opportunity to access many resources, such as information about the ever-evolving world that we live in, with new technologies and new jobs every day. But also, we want to make them have the help, concrete help. So in entering the professional world, knowing how to write a CV, knowing how to act in interviews is extremely important. We also want to make our app more interactive. So many students will have the opportunity to have quizzes, to know their interests, and also to have a live chat so they can always be helped. In our targets, we also want to include, once our app is developed, we want to include students that are in high school and also students that are in middle school, because they're all very crucial times in our lives. And once that we have a platform that is connecting these students in a digital manner, we also have as our cultural objective and idea, we believe that the most important part in connecting minds is that of connecting the unconnected. So, for example, the people that don't have access to digital platforms. Our vision in this is that we believe that even though we've heard a lot of amazing projects, so apps that wanted to be accessible to people, talking about values such as connection and innovation isn't enough. We want to dive deep into what the problem is, and we want to find concrete solutions. That's why we came up with the app that we think will connect minds and create the future. Thanks for listening. This is us, and our mentor was Gaia Norbiato. Thanks, Gaia.
Thank you, Hajra. What about any question for team number 21?
Yes, for sure. Thanks, Esther. Thanks to all members of Team 21. Really good problem analysis in which you selected some real and concrete problems. So if you had to choose one of these problems that you mentioned, which one are you going to select? And the second one is about the economic feasibility of your project. If you have made some evaluation about the cost for implementing it.
Thank you for your questions, Lorenzo. Firstly, I would like to say that we really think that one of the main problems that a lot of students face is not knowing how to find a direction in their future. And this is a really, really important point, because we need to have a path that is adaptable, as we've heard in the initial session that we had too with Neil Kampak. So another point that you said, of course, is the fact, so we would probably choose the problem of giving students and giving the youth in general a point that helps them find a way. So if you don't know what to do, you can search this and have help automatically. And to answer your second question, I would also like to say that we have made an estimate on the cost of our project. And although it is ambitious, we believe that basically the first initial cost would be about 20,000 euros, but it will be implemented thanks to investors such as 500 startups or Rethink Education, that are private investors that invest in education. And so I hope I answered your question.
Yes, for sure. The second one is about the stakeholder you was mentioning, because
yes.
I was reading through your submission form, and I was interested in deepening the involvement of stakeholders in terms of partnership for your project implementation.
We believe that there are lots of companies, but also other sites that have similar objectives to ours. A site that's known by a lot of people is, for example, LinkedIn, that has a similar idea, but it's not exactly what we are trying to find, because our solution is really something different. So people, companies and also universities that have the same goals and want to be innovative will definitely be of help in this case.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hachara. I think you were very, very clear. Up next, we have team number 29 with the project Tutor Ed. The speaker will be Elena Cogge. Their mentor is Giuseppe Dell'Erba. And the areas of action covered are tools for learners and people for people. Elena, we cannot see your screen. If you can share it.
Okay, one moment, please.
Yeah, sure, don't worry.
I have some technical issues. Okay.
Okay, don't worry about that.
Okay, yes. Okay, I have to set the presentation right now. Okay, screen one.
Are you managing the screen?
Okay, one moment. Can you see it?
Yes, it's working. Yeah, go to full mode presentation and you have 5 minutes from now. Good luck.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Helena, and I'm going to present you on my team project, which is FutureID. Okay. First of all, during the last month, we have done research on online lessons and how they are handled in the course of this difficult situation. We indeed became aware of the numerous problems schools are facing at the moment, and to receive direct feedback, we created 2 online questionnaires for our targets, one for students and one for teachers and school managers. First of all, we have to say that the students are aged between 14 and 19 years old, and the majority of them are keen on using electronic devices, but only a minority of them is able to use a computer with expertise and ease. On the other hand, teachers and school managers respectively teach and cope with any bureaucratic task involved in the school management. Standing to our questionnaires, to the questionnaires we gave to them, students on one end are struggling with following or attending lessons because of a sense of boredom due to a gap in their professors' digital competencies and for a lack of interaction among them and their classmates. On the other hand, teachers and school managers claim that they don't understand what is said during workshops about a specific program, and in the worst and sadly more common scenario, they are forced to learn alone about them and practice. All things considered, we asked ourselves, how can we make online lessons as effective as front ones? How can we ensure a high-quality education even through a computer? We indeed envision a school where everybody is able to exploit technology at its full potential, but independently on age and generation, there is a widespread shortage of digital abilities. So this is the reason why we decided to create a brand new tool to spread knowledge and foster innovation in the education system, TutorED, which is a platform in which video tutorials can be uploaded by students and teachers to teach each other how to use instruments like programs. TutorED is divided into two major sections, which are Explore, which is a area accessible to everybody and is split into 4 spaces: database, apps, programs, and websites. And the second one, instead, is divided into 2 private areas, one for students and one for teachers and school managers. In the students area, students have overviews of projects, a tool to edit videos and see teams, while teachers can see their students' tutorials and look for others through a bare search. Videos are organized based on levels of difficulty to make a step-by-step learning path, and they must last around 10 minutes with a clear language. To make the thing interesting, we also thought about introducing a series of challenges on a specific themes among different schools and some collaboration spaces between students and teachers. Which is the mission of TutorED. TutorED's mission is to bridge the gap among students and teachers as it regards digitalization. Indeed, our objectives are to reduce the digital gap and also to improve the interactions between students, teachers, and school managers. We also analyzed our probable competitors, which are courses at schools and the various tutorials teachers and students can find online. The problem is that sending to our questionnaires, courses are difficult to follow, and the tutorials don't follow a guideline such as our tutorials would do. So our goal is to develop our project starting from a local background and to arrive to a national one thanks to ministries of education. And we think that TutorED will certainly produce positive consequences on every target we identified, because there will be an improved school administration, there will be a higher percentage of people with digital skills, and there will also be technological support for students, teachers, and school managers who have disabilities. So we think that it is strictly connected with the themes of Expo 2020 and Italy's pavilions, connecting minds, connecting ideas, because and beauty connects people. Because we think that Our platform is a means to put people together. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Elena. You were exactly on time. Now we have some question for you.
Yes, thank you, Elena, for your really clear presentation to all members of your team number 29. A really interesting project in terms of presentation and order. I would like to ask you, what skill do you need to implement the project in order also to realize the platform that you mentioned? And if you discuss within your team the management aspect of the governance.
Okay, yes, we could resort to different stakeholders and naturally specialists. Okay, to develop our platform, we would need a UX and UI design team to develop the website, and also we would need to sustain our project the help of ministries of education, because we want to spread our platform around the national schools. So only in a third stage we would try to expand further our project. But first of all, we want to concentrate on a local background and then on a national one. And we are alone, we are not able to develop this platform. So as I said, we need a design team. And we also thought about collaborating, so establishing partnership with some software editing software companies, such as Movavi. To, for example, implement the editing tool for videos that I cited at the starting of presentation.
What about the inclusiveness of your project?
Okay, I mentioned it briefly at the end. We thought about students and teachers who have some disabilities and who actually need technology to be able to work flawlessly with their classmates, for example, and who also are struggling right now in following online lessons, because they're not in front of the teachers or in front of the students, so they don't have a direct contact. Also, we also thought about the fact that many teachers, but also many students, are not able to use a computer properly. In fact, there are many newspapers which are claiming about this problem right now. So we think it's really actual in terms of content.
Thank you so much. Really, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you also, Lorenzo. Up next, we have team number 37. Their project is called Omada. The speakers are Davide Pesaro and Vera Lazzaro. Their mentor is Lorenzo Tarchi. And the areas of action covered are tools for learners. And that's it.
Good afternoon. Can you see it? Can you see everything?
Yeah, we can see you. You can start.
Okay, perfect. Good afternoon. We are Davide and Vera, representing Team 37, and today we are bringing you our project Omada. Omada comes from the ancient Greek and means group, and that's where we started, because we wanted to create something that could galvanize young people and make them part of a global change and an international scenario. Also, we wanted to make sure to create something that could actually be doable, because we are tired of talking and daydreaming. As we were talking, brainstorming, and sharing our own experiences, we realized how cool and enriching it would have been to have a similar chance during our high school years. We realized that during our 13 years of life, We spend most of our time studying and at school and preparing for tests. And during high school in particular, it is incredibly hard and not cheap to have an international experience, for example, an high school year abroad or a Model United Nations. We wanted to make sure that people without the highest of grades or the financial resources to have an international experience could really be part of the global change. And how could we do that? With an everyday tool, a website that we decided to call Omada. In Omada, schools could find partner schools in other places in the world, either by picking them, choosing them, or they could get the connection randomly. The partnered schools could then decide to make projects together by making them from scratch or having them randomly given as well, with a link to the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals.
And aside from schools, our idea for the near future is to let each and every individual use Omada as well. That's why we shall implement a chat room within the website itself, so that users will get to know new people, more than just the other students directly involved with their respective projects. The platform is set to be both dyslexia friendly, as we inserted a switch button that changes the font to make it easier to read, and blind friendly, as we will add an alternative text to all the images in the website. And in future, possibly, we will even add voice commands. These two features make our project at the same time extremely innovative and absolutely sustainable. Furthermore, students partaking within international projects shall get better at the spoken language, and they will also develop a set of soft skills depending on the nature of the project. And the projects afterwards will be then published online and will be available to be read and consulted by everyone for free, as taught by the usefulness of open source in IT. The stakeholders of our project will not only be just the students themselves, but also the employers who will be very interested in hiring and working with young people that already know how to perform in an international setting or just in a team. And also teachers will be also very interested in our project, because they will get the chance to vary their lectures by making their students to do more interactive projects. Because this is what Omada is about. With Omada, students will no longer be just passive listeners. They would have preeminent role in their own education while making new friends, because that is what Omada is about. It's about giving people new opportunities to know each other and interact with each other, something that this latest pandemic has abruptly taken away from us. So, well, we want to get it back, and we will. Thank you very, very much for your attention, and if you have any further question, we will be very pleased to answer them. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Davide, and thank you, Vera. Let's see if we have some question for your project.
Yeah, thanks, Vera. Thanks, Davide. Thanks for members of Team 37. So my question, my first curiosity was about how are you going to interact with people? So how are you going to collect information and data for uploading in your platform?
I go?
You can go, yes.
Okay. Out of the team, I would probably be the one taking care of the social relations. We would start with connections in Italy using the Edu platform and taking contacts with the Ministry of Education. And then we would ask other schools that are already linked, maybe through Intercultura or other associations and other organizations, to help us have connections with abroad schools.
How did you come out with this idea within your group? So why did you choose this specific area of problem?
Well, because we found ourselves brainstorming, and we thought how cool it was just doing these projects like this. So we came up with this idea. We want to do this more often, and that's how Omada was born.
So reading through your final submission form, you mentioned that your platform is inclusive? In what terms do you think of your platform in terms of inclusiveness?
Well, first of all, because we already implemented the switch. The switch makes it so that the font that we use can then change in dyslexia, which is a font that is technically easier to read to people with dyslexia. And we would add as we said, the alternative text to images and make sure that we use a font that is actually readable for the programs and the softwares that blind people use. And then maybe we would also like to talk with a psychologist or someone that could help us understand how to also be inclusive in the terms of people with ADHD, because I know that they can concentrate better if there is like music in the background, but I'm not an expert. So we would love to know more about that.
And we will also add in the future voice commands, that's for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You were also very clear. Now it's time for Team 50. Their project is called Connecting Minds. The speakers are Laila Ismail, and the mentor is Simona Mongelli. The areas of action covered are tools for learners and people for people. Thank you. You can start by sharing your presentation. We can see it. Just go on full mode, Leila.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Leila, and I'll be speaking on behalf of Team 50. My team and I had long meetings where we conversed on the issues we faced in our educational institutions, whether that be universities or schools. In these discussions, it became apparent in this modern society in which technology becomes a principal asset, we realized that there is an absence of stimulating ways of teaching, usually caused by a lack of technology use in multiple institutions. The more we dove into the issue, we discovered that this issue stems from the inability of instructors and teachers to integrate various types of digital platforms into the curriculum, as well as the reduced student involvement in their education. So to tackle these issues, we wish to innovate teaching systems, enhance skills of teachers, and building relationships between students and teachers. How would we do that? Well, one of our biggest solutions is to implement compulsory refresher courses for all professors and teachers made by specialized and competent personnel, with the intent to inform teachers of the basics of technology for those who need it and how to make the most of it. Inherent to the same discourse, we find that it's crucial that in each subject, it has a technological side to be learned at its best and to make it more enjoyable for the students. We also believe that schools should install a feedback system in order to function at its best. Who will give this feedback, you say? Well, this will be from customers who are the students. This will happen at around every month, where students will give a progress report to the teachers on how they feel about how this month went and how these methods that the teachers used were effective or not. We would like to also we want to do this using partnerships with private foundations and companies who provide the devices and the tools for us. And we would like to, regarding the scale, we would like to start it small within small cities and small institutions, and then expanding to bigger cities and maybe make it national. And moving forward, we'd also like to make it more international, involving many countries and over all of the continents. That way, teachers can interact with each other and share ideas of how these training courses are happening, and also allow the world to expand and move on forward towards the future together. The impacts that we believe this project will have on society. First, reduction of early school dropouts, as more students will feel that the educational system caters to their needs. Thus, it's becoming becoming more active members of society. There will be higher quality of education services and tools, which ensures that students will get a better learning experience, where they get to harness their abilities and explore their talents. Additionally, these modern educational system will also prepare students for work and for any obstacles they may face in their careers. A big thing in our goals is to also develop the soft skills of students, which are usually overlooked in most outdated schools. And these soft skills play a major role in getting the world to a better future. It's also to train students and teachers and to collaborate more with companies and the society and to include the whole community. In conclusion, our project is committed to strive both learners and educators, not in a passive and assertive way, but in an active and immersive way. The principal aim is assuring a modern and technological education to create a blooming future for the future generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Leila. Let's see if we have some questions for you. Lorenzo?
Yes, for sure. Thanks. Thank you very much. Thanks to all to the international team of Team 50. So you have a couple of questions. The first one is about the stakeholders. I read through your submission form, and you mentioned government and private stakeholders. So if you could clarify these points about involvement of stakeholders, it would be great. The second question is about the age target of your project. If you could specify your focus in terms of age. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, stakeholders, we obviously students and teachers, and also we said that governments and private companies. Well, governments will start financing and implementing these policies and to ensure that these training programs become compulsory to all schools and all the institutions. And we believe that is important to ensure that these teachers get the ability to improve on their abilities to teach and to include more technological devices and platforms that could help students. Also, regarding the age, as we were researching, we found that Italy has the highest age group of teachers who are teaching in high school. So they are the oldest, which means the relationship between the students and the teachers is kind of missing in that area, as they find it as it's hard for the students to relate to the teachers and vice versa. So we thought if we can't really control the age, we might as well try to help these teachers to kind of get to a level where they can understand the students by improving their technological abilities and to make their methods and curriculum more digitalized.
And it's about I think the connection with Expo 2020 Dubai.
With Expo Dubai? Okay, so we one of our goals is to make it international, where it includes all countries and all cities and all that. So as teachers are training and as they are getting introduced to new ways of teaching, we thought that these teachers from different parts of the world could share their ideas through this training program and could interact while they are training and could kind of invent or create new softwares or new programs where they could create models or new appliances for their classrooms and institutions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to team number 50. Up next, we have team number 60 with Eduversity. The speakers are Federica De Bernardis and Zong Anna Ding. Their mentor is Angelica Nicole Ricca, and the areas of action covered are worldwide school and lifelong sharing. Anna, Federica, we need to see your screen.
Yes. Here we are.
Yes, we can see it. You have 5 minutes from now. Good luck.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Anna from team number 60, and I'm going to present our project called Eduversity Worldwide Wind. We choose Eduversity because education and diversity are the keywords of our project. We want to create a new way of learning, exploring a multiculturalism exchange among countries of all over the world. That's why we choose also Worldwide Wind as our slogan, because creating a worldwide community is our long goal term, and we think that diversity can be the wind that will connect people. So we asked ourselves, how can we create something that can answer to all our needs? For the first thing, we identified the problem. We found out a need of a new way of learning and teaching, and also an important point is the relationships among the students. So that's also why we want to create the school that we always dreamed of. We want to create a school using the old resources that we have in order to create new kind of lessons where teamwork and creativity are the order of the day, and also a new school system that can bring us all together and then can help us to take over the world, learning more about it. That's why multiculturalism is the heart of diversity. We want to create a new generation of creative minds whose knowledge can be complete and especially fully aware of the modern topics that influence our everyday lives, and especially to let people understand that diversity is not a bad thing. So the platform of Eduversity will integrate new skills in order to connect people no matter how far they are. In our platform, you will find extra classes in English made by experts over subjects such as sexual and gender education, political and sustainability education, history, human rights, and so on. A counseling service, an international book club, and a digital library, a wiki page held by students, creative content, and fun activities, but most importantly, intellectual lessons that can be followed by schools of different countries, starting from a small group of students that are willing to interact and to discuss about social issues and modern topics.
Okay, so now we can focus on our project very strong points. Let's start with economy. We're going to use both public and private funds so that we can keep the platform cheap for users. Obviously, in this field, we would need the support of some experts. Scalability, because we're going to start with few schools and few users from 1 or 2 countries, and then hopefully we're going to expand it later. Our target is not any school or any student. Our target is a high school or university student who's interested in social issues, or a school that wants to create a path for their students, which is focused on multiculturalism and sharing. How are we going to reach them? We're going to reach these students and school through social media, and also through partnerships with other platforms. Now we're going to talk about inclusion and innovation. Why our project is innovative? Our project is innovative because we don't want to create the usual platform. We want to create a platform which is a free space to communicate and express our creativity. Also, it will be inclusive because it can be used by any kind of person, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, religion, social and cultural background. Yes, so a safe and genuine place. This is how our platform could look like. You can see in the first picture an example of homepage with our name and logo and all different features. And in the second image, there is an example of clubs that user can join. Now, to conclude, I wanted to point out how our project is connected to the motto "Beauty Connects People." In fact, working together and sharing our ideas at group, we understood that open-mindedness, learning, sharing, studying, all those things are beauty. And sharing our ideas, learning from each other, we really understood that beauty can really connect people.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry your time is up, but you concluded it well. So Lorenzo, Michele, do we have some questions for team number 60?
Yes, my question, first of all, thanks to Team 60, to all members, Federica and Anna for their presentation. My first question is about the international aspect of your project. So I was curious, and I would like to ask them to stress why the project, according to them, is so international. So the international aspect of your project. The second one is about the organization of your project team. How are you going to manage your team commitment in order to develop the project?
I go?
Yes, you can go.
So the main goal of our project, as I said before, is creating a worldwide community because we want to exploit our multiculturalism exchange, and this is the main goal of Eduversity. So as Federica said before, we are going to start with some few schools from, for example, with Italy or UAE, so 2 countries. And then we are going to expand our project in the other countries. Regarding the organization of our project, we think that we have many skills. Many of our members has skills of design, of IT, but we also need some skills of experts. So we need also the help of developers, IT developers, for example, from the ED, and also the help of our stakeholders, for example, private investors, banks, and most importantly, also the approval of the ministers of education.
So if I can, please go ahead. I wanted just to add one thing about the international aspect. The platform will be held completely in English. All the lessons will be in English. All the programs, the book club, the movie club, and all the activities, the contest will be in English so that they can be available for people from different countries. So we want to create like a space for anyone from any part of the world. So that's why we chose also the English language.
Thank you so much. That was my my focus, especially in terms of the competitive advantage at the international level of your platform.
Thank you. If there aren't any other questions, okay. Up next, we should move on to team number 63. The project is actually called as a question. So, what is good teaching? The speakers are Carlotta Terzariol and Lorenzo De Luca, their mentor Silvia Bolletta, and the subtopics Tools for Learners and People for People.
What is good teaching? Difficult question. Yeah, this is our main focus. Good teaching means creating a strong connection between students and teachers to inspire hope, imagination, and love for learning. But how can the teacher-student relationship evolve in the digital era? How will people interact with innovative education systems, and how a more learner-centered education experience can be fostered through the deployment of digital technologies? These are the questions that made us realize that there is something missing in the actual education system, that there is a need that cannot remain unfulfilled, a need of evolution through the digitalization of the whole school system. So what are we proposing? First of all, we aim at providing schools all over the world with adequate technological equipment, which will be used both for online classes and for interactive after-class activities. What's more, we plan to organize extra learning courses for teachers to help them acquire IT skills to redesign their academic programs in a more interactive and digital version. But to really make a quantum leap in school digitalization, a new tool is needed, and we believe our platform, Digital School, is that tool. Leonardo da Vinci suggested that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, so our digital school, thus being an extremely user-friendly platform, doesn't lack in potential. Digital school is intended for both students and teachers. Here you can see the homepage that provides the basic functionalities. Teachers will upload here weekly surveys on the progress of the lessons that students should respond to, together with all the useful materials for the learning process. The area named Classroom is entirely dedicated to the students, to urge on the exchange of ideas and foster collaboration and peer-to-peer work. As you select the section Accounts, you get in your curriculum with all the relevant personal data accompanied by a histogram showing the academic qualifications. You can upload grades, but also absences, delays, and departures with memorandums. Stay updated through a digital school magazine. Teachers are provided with a personal curriculum too, which will be made public in order to offer the students easy access to models of the path they will eventually need to get through getting a foot in the working field. The app will also help overcome the communication barriers between teachers by dividing them into compartments based on the subject they teach.
More specifically, who are we referring to? The platform, the provision of adequate technological equipment, and the organization of extra IT courses are all intended for teachers and students of secondary school. Our external stakeholders, NGOs, will then add value and efficiency to the project, offering funds and support to the school staff. How will our project be fulfilled throughout the time? Firstly, the provision of schools with all the equipment needed is an immediate action that needs to be taken within 3 months' time. Then, as a middle-term goal, there is the launching of the digital school on a national Italian scale in 1 year's time to collect data and refine the platform. Finally, our main long-term objective is to make our project spread on a global scale without leaving any country behind by 2023. And now, why choose us? We are completely aware of the fact that there are valid competitors on the market that have launched similar platforms, but our project combined their best features to the greatest potential to give full advantage to our target all in one platform. No other app allows collecting and organizing in a detailed curriculum such a quantity of personal data of the users. None of them makes collaboration between teacher and students so easy and distant. We plan to start digital advertising through social media to make the project known and accessible to everybody. The impact of the digitalization on the school system will result in a radical improvement and a speeding up in every field. Firstly, the environment will benefit from this. Enabling teachers and students to use more easily digital material would reduce paper consumption, preventing a further increase in the waste of resources. Secondly, in this period of pandemic emergency, our project would represent a valid help to respect all the restrictions imposed by the government, including social distancing, without cutting down on education's quality. Finally, our platform, due to the high qualitative standards of education offered, will prevent early school drops. drops out, bringing long-term benefits to the community, providing it with experts and multi-skilled workers. To conclude, we wanted to cite a quote by Steve Jobs, which became the team's motto: "Innovation is the only way to win." Here it is, Team 63. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Carlotta, and thank you, Lorenzo. Now we will ask another Lorenzo if he has some questions.
Yes, good name, Lorenzo. Lorenzo, Carlotta, thanks for your presentation. Thanks to all members of Team 63. I have some questions. The first one I would like to begin with is about the eventual involvement of families in your service and platform. I read through your submission form, and you mentioned the benefits or not benefit, that's my question, from the family perspective in this platform.
Well, actually, as we mentioned in the presentation, everybody is going to gain benefit from this, because since students will be provided with an user-friendly platform, they won't need their parents' further help in the usage of such platforms. So they would act autonomously, and they will be able to follow lessons autonomously every day with their teachers. Moreover, teachers would get benefit because there would be a direct contact between their children and teachers. So their children will be secure and will feel free to ask any questions without being too nervous and report is in their houses. So peace and serenity will be ensured.
Have you already discussed with your teachers or teachers that you know in regards to your project? Have you received some feedbacks from the bottom up of the school?
Well, actually, we all know that the actual system needs refreshing, and we need innovative systems in order to ensure that communication is effective. Personally speaking, I've noticed with my teachers throughout the time and throughout the passing of these months, the communication is not always easy due to connection problems, due to inefficiency of the platforms that we are provided with. In fact, in our submission form, we cited Google and Axios, which are the most used platforms in the schools. We took inspiration from these, and we added the features that we thought being the most relevant and the most important to provide students with.
So you mentioned really well all the competitive advantages or your strengths. If I ask you to mention a quickness of your project, which one do you mention?
Probably the fact that we provide the users with such a large collection of their personal data. So as a student, as you get in the section account, as we showed in the presentation, you are provided with a few view of all the activities you have completed throughout the years, all the tasks or the homework you have completed throughout the last weeks, and all the qualifications you got. And this is really useful to create a detailed portfolio, detailed and personal. It's important for the passage from middle to secondary school and from secondary school to university. So I think this is the main feature, the most innovative and useful one.
How did you come up with the idea of giving your project the name of the question, what is good teaching, and why you prioritize the question instead of a single word name?
Well, I don't know if Lorenzo wants to say something.
Actually, this name is putting a question was a brilliant idea because it would probably I don't know the sorry, one second.
It's fine. Lorenzo, it's fine. Carlotta?
Yeah, probably we came out with the idea of putting a question as the title, since it's very it comes to you when you read it. It's very emphasizing our aim. Our aim is providing good teaching, is providing a good education system, and is aimed at bettering the existent one. So yeah, good teaching is our aim, and we thought using a question would be very efficient.
Lorenzo, just one last question. How is your project linked to Expo 2020 Dubai that you mentioned at the end of the presentation?
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
The connection with the Expo 2020 Dubai.
So I can't understand the first.
What is the connection? What is the connection of your project with the motto of Expo 2020 Dubai?
Oh yeah, it connects with obviously the school, because the school is in this period a really problem, because we think that the digitalization is the future. So the Expo is the perfect way to expose our ideas and innovations.
Yeah, if I can add something, we thought that this project actually links with the statement "Beauty connects people," because for us, beauty is connecting people, is enhancing people to communicate with each other in such a difficult period of pandemic emergency. We know that our social life is constantly changing in this period, and so through this platform we will give pupils the possibility of collaborating with each other with the peer-to-peer mentoring.
Thank you, Carlotta. Thank you, Lorenzo. Thanks for all the answers. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Carlotta, and thank you, Lorenzo. And thank you also, Lorenzo. I would like to present to you now Team 14 with the project Care Yourself. The speakers will be Angela Cammammeri and Gianira Grillotti, and their mentor is Brian Melato. The areas of action covered are people for people and lifelong sharing.
Good evening, everyone. Care Yourself is a project created by students for students. Indeed, we submitted our survey to 251 high school students, and these are the results. More than 70% of them are suffering from one or more weekly breakdown, and for the 60% of them, the educational system has gotten worse since the start of the situation. We can see here the main words linked with school. We can see stress, instability, anxiety, etc. So based on this, we decided to merge our personal experiences and the high school experiences from the survey, and we understood that students' mental health is not a priority. So we decided to focus on two main areas of action. People for people, in order to create something that can connect students and teachers in a more harmonious environment, and lifelong sharing, so in a more inclusive perspective in the educational and digital field. Our mission is to tackle the indifference on the topic of students' mental health and to let them open up with experts. So based on this analysis, what did we create? Care Yourself. Care Yourself will be a website in which both students and teacher will have a meeting with psychologists and psychotherapists. They can have it as a group class or as a single. In case of necessity, a single student can book private session with psychologists. University students' work will be financed by university as a research program. So our timeline. In the first 6 months life of our project, we want to create a website in which both professors and students will have book appointment with psychologists. And here we have a sample of it. From 6 months to 1 year, we want to develop an app, and in the meantime, we want to improve the website. And from 1 year to more, we want to develop new initiatives and explore broader topics and international borders. Anyway, every 3 months, we will ask for feedback from the users.
Our project is indeed based on the help the students and educator could get from therapists or psychologists. In order to achieve the target, we have to reach out to all professional help interested in our plan. Therefore, the idea would be to select several universities with a high rate of mental health support and studies that would contribute and then use the advantage of our project in their research. Our project expenses will be in order to create our hub and obtain visibility. Available psychological experts will take part in university finance research program, which will use our project as a source to deepen study and analysis in a stage-like environment. We will contact sports organization and influencer in order to get more visibility among teenagers. These expenses, as sponsor, will be covered by adding advertisement inside our software, creating a virtuous and economical cycle. Our project will be a really innovative facility, especially for high school students. It will be the only one platform and service about education to be entirely focused on students' mental health, stability, and balance in order to reduce anxiety and instability caused by the stress due to schoolwork. Based on the results given by our survey, our new way of living, school life and activities will be established. More responsibility will be given to the students, and they will be helped to be more autonomous and not to increase the stress, which affect their mental balance. Mental health issues put strong roots in the educational field long before this pandemic situation we're living in. The main strength that we can detect in our project is, without any doubt, the psychological help that both students and educators could benefit from. The social benefits is indeed the psychophysical improvement of the students, which will lead to greater participation for studying in a more comfortable environment, thanks to the meetings with the expert. Thanks to our facility, the students can come and keep in touch with experts, but not only them. Our project is aimed at teachers as well. Our system will give the chance for teachers and students to have some little breaks during the lesson. In fact, they could take part in activities after our platform at any time they wish. Activities that would be enjoyed for a really short period of time, 5 to 10 minutes each. Would be small games, really easy ones so they're not challenging, stressful, or addictive. Thanks to our platform, students, teachers, and psychologists' minds will become in touch, so the people work for people in order to improve mental health. Will be to connect different people and minds all together in order to reestablish the beauty. This beauty of connecting people and minds will be effort in order to recover from the COVID-19 situation. My team and I thanks all of you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Angela, and thank you, Janira. Lorenzo, do you have some questions about Care Yourself?
Yes, for sure. Thanks, Janira and Angela. Thanks to all the members of Team 14. My first question, which is actually also a curiosity, is why did you select school instead of university? And if it's, your service is applicable also to the university sector?
Yeah, first of all, our project is also applicable for the universities because, of course, these students, these psychology students, will be the first one to be called to do this kind of program. Indeed, when we talk about university students' work, we are talking about their aim to help high school students going through this rough path with the situation of COVID-19. So the university student will be not the first one, but like they will be very involved in this program and in this project.
Have you collected some data, some specific data about the mental breakdowns in this period of times? I mean, in addition to the process that you already mentioned.
Yes, we did indeed. We actually did a survey which we sent to all the schools, high schools, middle school, maybe even university, and the results that were given to us are actually in our presentation. We discovered a lot of stress and instability and a lot of anxiety by the students given by the teacher, because due to schoolwork, many students suffer from panic attacks, anxiety attacks, and that costs their attention to the lesson they're given in. So yes, our survey gave us a lot of results that help us in our presentation that we're giving you today.
And the symptoms are often like linked with post-traumatic stress disorder, which is really, really like important to understand.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's fine for me. Thanks, Angela. Thanks, Janita. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Team 14. Next up, we have Team 27 with Uni 5. The speakers are Isabel Pistic and Hadil Alamoudi. Their mentor is Giorgio Ferraro, and the area of action covered is people for people.
Good evening. 2020 is a Good evening. 2020 is a year of change. COVID-19 attacked the world. It was a challenge for us, but we accepted. Hello, we are Team 27. My name is Hadil, and today together with me there is Isabel. We will start with some questions that really need an answers. The first question is, our university encourages students to communicate? The second question is, do students communicate and learn from each other? The third question is, do students have a website or application that make them share knowledge? For all these questions, that the answer is possible no.
264,000 first-year students just this year in Italy. Imagine how many more students all over the world started university this year. A lot did. Especially if you imagine the first-year students. Most of them struggle to adjust to daily university life because they've probably never seen the university from the inside, nor have had classes in person. But most concerning is that most of these students have never met their fellow students. How can we reassure that these students won't have any problems in connecting with their fellow students when university starts again, or reassure that these students won't lose motivation to keep on studying in times like these? How can we connect these students in the best way possible? Well, we have just a solution for that. Let me introduce you to Uni 5. Uni 5 is a website with which you can connect with fellow students from your university, but also with students from all over the world. Chatting, video calling, and many more is possible with Uni 5. Here you can see clubs and their activities from your university. You can also see daily news about your university, but also news from all over the world. You can also see the latest updates about the website. Here, events from a university or from fellow students will be posted. On a bulletin board, which can be seen by everyone, you can ask questions. But most importantly, you can create study groups with fellow students from your class or faculty. While chatting and getting to know each other, you can prepare for exams and upcoming classes. To let people know a bit more about yourself, you have to create a profile in which you have to give your name, the university you're in, and what faculty you're in. It is optional to put age and things about yourself so that students who might feel uncomfortable with giving those won't feel pressured, because we really want to reassure that we create a safe space for everyone to feel comfortable in. To reassure our students' safety when first registering into the website, they have to give their student's ID, otherwise you can't create an account. Then they will have to create a password with which they can always log into a website. A long-term goal of our team is to develop an app so that the website will be easier accessible. But why choose Uni 5?
Because it is important to have a connection It is easy to find your fellows just through research for university name or even courses. It is also important to have a teamwork. We created a space that students can create study groups, such as polls and even chats. When we are connecting minds, we create the future. This is only can happen through communication. Connecting students mean that we are connecting, that we create a net among the future leadership members. And here we are with our team 27 members' names and our mentor Georgia. Finally, thank you very much for listening to our idea that we put all our efforts and heart. Thank you. We are open for questions.
Thank you, Hadil, and thank you, Isabel. Let's wait if we have some questions for your project.
Yes.
So what do you think?
Yes, thank you. Thanks to all members of Team 27. My question, one of my question was about the cost of the project. Where and how do you plan to find the economic and financial resources needed? I saw an estimation, a forecast in your submission form. If you can specify this point and the stages of this implementation.
Yeah, so first of all, we want to create a website to connect students from Europe so that we can rate how they would, what they think about the website. And then in the second stage, we would connect with people that have a lot of, that know how to create, professionally know how to create a website, an app. And then we would create the app with these professionals. And we thought about a crowdfunding. So the students who already are registered on the website, we would announce that we would now develop an app and try to make a crowdfunding and also a GoFundMe. And for that, we would first let these students rate the website and how we could make the app in the best way possible for these students to use it.
What about the geographical scales in terms of the spread of your service?
Yeah. So first of all, we also thought about that. We want to create everyone, so every university all over the globe, so that students can connect with even students from different countries and different continents. And for that, we would use the app. So before with the website, we would kind of try to find the best way for an app, so that we know how we would have to create the app for everyone all around the world to exit it, to access the app, and also the different languages we would use, if we would only do English, or if we would also try to list more languages for people from different countries, so that everyone would feel welcomed in the app. And by that, first of all, we would publish the website for Europe. So since Europe has a lot of different countries with a lot of different cultures and a lot of different languages, we would make a survey with those students who register and ask them how we can make it better for everyone, and then develop an app for the whole world.
And what about the advertisement of the project? You already mentioned some tool. So what is the first tool you want to use?
Yeah, so first of all, we would collaborate with universities if they would advertise our website on their website. Then, of course, social media such as Instagram, Snapchat, and many other social media platforms, because most students would probably follow an advertisement from Instagram to this website. And then the crowdfunding, we would announce it on the website for the funding of the app, or for the developing of the app.
Have you already shared your ideas, your project ideas with other friends or teachers or professors outside your team?
Yeah, so my brother started university this year also, and he has never been to university, and he doesn't know anyone from there. And I asked him if he would use this app, and he was very fond of the app, so he thought it was a very good idea, or the website, he thought it was a very good idea, because he thought it was very problematic that he didn't know anyone, because also his motivation was also kind of lacking. And also siblings from my friends who also started university, I asked them if they would use the app if we would publish it, and they all said yes.
Also, for there's some friends that told me about they needed to bad experience in my lab. I started with my first year with a bad experience because I didn't know about anything about the subjects that I taught or even the majors. I was asking people like, what about the business and what about, but they didn't answer me because they have a different major. And it was so hard for me. So that's why we need this website, and all students should have it.
Thank you. Thank you, Adil and Isabel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, number 27. Now we have our last team for today, which is team number 33, with equal education. The speaker is Alianna Pamintan. Their mentor is Khadija Taufik. And the area of action covered is tool for learners.
Hi guys.
Hi, Alianna. You can go on with your presentation.
Okay. Team 33 would like to present equal education, student equality. In our group, we found out that there's a big silent category of student which isn't taken into consideration, composed by blind student. And according to our research, there are at least 1 billion people that are visually impaired all over the world. On the side scale, these are the challenges they are facing to achieve their academic goal. They struggle in every way possible, mostly because the education of development doesn't provide certain materials to empower, enlighten, and encourage their strength to go on and to fulfill their dreams to have a proper education. So the area of action we chose is tools for learners, so they can have equal curricular education, unleashing new opportunities in terms of accessibility, connection, and collaboration. And in fact, we are not just targeting blind students, we are targeting everyone. Blind people who want to have a proper education, blind teachers for everyone who wants to work in general. And Nelson Mandela once quoted that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And also quoted, education is the great engine of personal development, but why it hasn't been considered to provide accessible materials to them so they can have a proper education. So as a team, our mission is to give them a chance to learn, but also a chance to dream and raise awareness and open-mindedness on today's society. And our goal are normalizing accessible materials, a new digital platform, and have an equal education for everybody. So as a solution, our idea first is to provide equal right materials, that school must normalize these materials. These materials are not new ideas that we really hope that we may change someone's future with these materials. And with the pandemic going on, we would like to propose to create a new platform with a digital assistant operated by voice control and create or share video lesson. Why choose this platform? Because it is a place to develop their talent, creativity, as well as their mental abilities to their fullest potential, and a place to demonstrate their potential ability and study in a better way, and it is open for everybody. And how to reach our goal. So with the World Blind Union and the National Association for Parents of Children with Visual Impairments, they can be our allies. They can help us to spread all over the world the project we have. And through social media, we can raise some donation with direct links. And our advantages are social inclusion, that people with this kind of disability, they can start to feel included to their own community or in our society. And with the right materials, we can turn disability into ability, and we can help them to expand their knowledge and have a good quality of life. And in the end, break the stereotype of disability, that people will start thinking that disabled people can be someone bigger than their disability. And for our future plans, from the school, normalized accessible materials can also lead to provide an accessible environment. From the development of platform can also be our first step to become an organization and a system of multinational company. And in the end, to become an organization for all kind of disability. So, by thinking differently and seeing the ability in disability, we connect to each other's beautiful mind to lead us to a better future. At the end of the day, we all live with disability as well as by unique strengths and differences where we can be exactly who we are. Therefore, we are all little different, and that makes us beautiful. So we should celebrate those imperfections that makes us special. Once again, Team 33, and special thanks to our mentor, Kadisha.
Thank you. Thank you, Aliana. Mr. Micheli, do you have some questions for our last team?
Thank you for the inspiring words. Thank you for the really clear presentation. Thanks to all members of Team 33. So my question was about the financial resources needed to develop the platform. The second one was about the competitive advantage in comparison of other platforms, and the third one is about if you already share this idea and this service with the target, with the specific target of your project.
Well, first of all, we really didn't calculate the specific amount financially, because it can be also raised through donations, just like what I said earlier. And the second question, sorry.
Okay, I think there was just some problem with the directing. Everything is fine. My second question was about the financial resources needed to develop the platform.
Well, just like I said earlier, we didn't really calculate the specific amount. So, and we proposed for donations. We can raise some donation through direct links and social media.
And the last one was about if you already discuss and share these ideas and present this service with the target, with some representative of the target that you mentioned.
Yes, it will really be good to represent our ideas to our target, such as the Worldwide Union, and we chose that because for being an organization for all over 190 countries, it really can be a big effect in our project.
Thank you so much. Thanks to all Team 33. Thanks.
Thank you.
And I think that's a wrap. These are all the teams for today. Thank you. We are finished. Thank you to the mentors. Thank you to the participating teams. Thank you for everything that you've done in the past month, for your dedication, for your passion. We invite you all to follow the next session till November the 30th. And remember that each one of you would be the protagonist of the closing event in December. It's time for everyone to come together to celebrate this incredible milestone. Through your participation, you're invited to celebrate with us the countdown to Expo 2020 Dubai, of which motto is Connecting Minds, Creating the Future, in order to come together in a new and unique way to share ideas. And this is exactly our wish for you, to be able to search and find that specific uniqueness. This is why also we are deeply committed to this effort, and we are very grateful for your overall commitment. Thank you very, very much. It was a pleasure, and see you tomorrow with the next presentations.